G'day watchers, welcome back to the channel, to today's video where I'm going to do a bit of a comparison between these two watches from the house of Omega. So these are both of course within the Seamaster range, the Omega Seamaster range. On the left I have my much loved Omega Seamaster Diver 300M. The model number of this one is quite long, it's 212.30.4120.03001. Links in the description to previous videos and whatnot. So this watch I reviewed initially, long time ago, nearly a year ago, I think, and it's really been something of a mainstay on my wrist, something that I've really liked using. This one, of course, is a more recent review, and again, thank you to Graham, local friend and supporter, who has made this watch available for reviews and comparisons. Over here is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 600M in the non-ceramic version. So this is the previous model, number 2200.50.00. Once again, links in the description and what have you. So these are quite distinct offerings, even though they are both from the same company under the same label of Seamaster. And really they all have the expected common features. They're both 316L stainless steel. They both have screw-in case backs and crowns, and great water resistance, 300 meters for the Diver 300, of course. And then I've already said it, it's 600 meter performance on Planet Ocean models. Unidirectional 120 click dive bezels, fantastic lume. They both have the top C3 Super Luminova, as I understand it, and they both have that helium escape valve at the 10 o'clock position. More of a talking point for most people, or something that you can fidget with if you like fidgeting it. So a lot of very similar features. So what drives the choice between these two? And first up, I'll list the price. So the one on the left has an MSRP of 4,400 USD. Realistically, on grey market, around 3,000, maybe slightly lower if you find a good deal. The one on the left is no longer in production. Original MSRP 4,500 USD, and in grey market currently still available for around the 4,000 mark. So it's not highly discounted because I think mainly because it's not in production anymore. If you look at the current ceramic Planet Ocean models, they have an MSRP of 6,200 USD, 6,200 USD. Ironically and interestingly, you can buy it for around the same price as the previous model, around 4,000 on the grey market if you look for a good deal. So in terms of price difference, well, you're paying about 40% more for Planet Ocean compared to the Seamaster Diver 300M. Okay, so that's the background. Now, in terms of the comparison, well, it's not really a head-to-head duel here. It's really just a description I want to do. So first up, I'll tell you what I'm not going to really talk about, or not. I guess I don't think you can really compare is the caliber, because it's from Omega. It's a 2500 caliber in both of these. That's based on the ETA 2892-A2 movement with coaxial modification. So it's actually exactly the same movement in both these watches. So that's not a comparison. I would say I can't distinguish quality here. They're obviously both great quality. They're both from the same company. I don't think I can pick out a difference in quality between these two pieces. So I'm not going to really talk about that. And then, of course, brand down the bottom here. That's not really a thing I'm going to be talking about. I've left off the X factor, but I will kind of talk about it, as I go through the description here. So let's go through the categories here. So again, these are the previous scores. I haven't altered the scores that I've given these two watches from all the previous videos that I've done. You can look it up on the links that I'll provide, or on the cards of the top right hand corner here. Right, design, the first point of discussion here. So I think they're both iconic designs. They're both great original designs from Omega. Well, I guess some people would say they have homages to various other pieces, but relatively speaking, they're not exactly the same as any other thing. So I consider them relatively original designs, right? The 300M, the Diver 300M, has relatively softer edges. You know, it's got that more rounded feeling on the bezel, the bracelet, the crown guards there. You can see it's just a more softer finish. It's got more curves, more roundness. It's got, you know, I guess, you know, its own markers, that own dial design, really, you know, that I think Omega have originated on their watches. Of course, it's going to have similarities to other older dive designs, but it's really its own thing, I think, respectfully. The 600M, the Planet Ocean, really has a harder edge. You know, it's more of a brute. It's got, you know, more angles, right? You know, the surfaces are just, you see more 90 degrees, even though it does have a nice curvy look as well. It's just a slightly harder, edgier feel, I think. You know, but I think they're both great designs. They're both excellent for, you know, what they're intended to do. In this case, a very, you know, utilitarian, you know, almost a tough tool watch. This one is also a tool watch, but it has more, I guess, some more refined dress type features on it. Okay, so I've given 9 to both, as I've previously done when I've scored these watches. So quality, I'm skipping through. There was 9 for both previously. And then on to style. Now, this is of course subjective, but I think this one overall has a more, I guess, a more classical, a more likable style to me. It's softer. It's got that, you know, that very, very nice bracelet. A really, really nice, you know, bracelet. I very much like this. It's respected. Some people have said this is one of the best in the business, and you know, it's hard to disagree with that. And just overall, styling wise, you know, I've really enjoyed this. I really like the overall look of it, and I've given it 9 previously. Well, you know, the Planet Ocean, it's really very good as well. You know, I've really enjoyed the brief time I've had with this watch. You know, it really pulls attention to itself, partly because of the size, but I think the style of it is also excellent. You know, I think 8 out of 10, I'm very happy to give this that. Overall, I do prefer the style of the Diver 300M. That's just my subjective opinion, you know, really in the most subjective of these categories here. Okay, moving on. Performance. Okay, I think these are the scores. Again, I've given them before. This watch does its job. It's got great lume. It's got a bezel that is perfectly functional. You know, it no doubt will succeed in what it sets out to do. But I think, no question, the 600M is really the superior tool watch. One of the best tool watches that I've had on the whole channel ever. You know, 600 meter performance. It's got excellent lume. In fact, one of the best lume I've seen, and part of that again is a function of the amount of lume. But you know, really, this one is no slouch. It just, that the Planet Ocean just takes it. You know, it's got a bezel that functions better than just about anything I've touched. Functionally, you know, that is an excellent bezel, and it just is an overbuilt tough diver that is no question one of the best tool watches that I've ever touched. So, you know, I've got to give 10 out of 10, and I've given that the same score as I had on the previous comparison video, 10 out of 10 versus 8 out of 10 for performance. Okay, versatility. I think, again, this one hopefully is not that controversial. You know, we were talking about 41 millimeters versus a massive 45.5 millimeter for the Planet Ocean. Is there any question that this is more versatile? I think no. As to exactly what the spread should be, well, you know, I think this one really fits just about any circumstance, except for the strictest dress code where I guess you should be wearing a dress watch with a leather band. This is going to suit you for just about anything you want to do, up to, you know, office work with semi-formal wear, even formal wear, down to going to the beach or just lounging around at home. This one, of course, is very much a tough design. It is right at home on the beach in kind of like natural surrounds, outdoors and all that. Because of its size, it is not versatile, and it's also thicker as well. So, I have to knock off points with versatility. I've chosen to give this 7 versus 9 for the Diver 300M on the left there. Okay, durability. Again, I think no controversy. This one, whilst it's very high quality, it is, in steel. This steel is refined, and it's prone to, I guess, scratching on some surfaces where if you're not careful, you're going to make marks on it. And this, I guess it just feels like a watch that you want to take care of, even though, yes, I have no doubt that it will withstand some of the rigors that it's designed for. It just feels like a watch that I want to be a little bit more careful with. Whereas a PO, a Planet Ocean, overbuilt thickness, there's no doubt that there's a lot of steel in here. This is one of the heaviest watches I've had. It's over 200 grams versus about 165 for the Diver 300M. You definitely feel a lot more substantial watch in this, as you feel it on the wrist, and I have no doubt it is going to be a more durable piece. So I've given 8 versus 7 in the durability stakes. You could argue that you might give slightly different scores, but I think you can't argue that that is the more durable piece. Moving on, value. Okay, this one is a little bit tough as well. I think why I've given these scores, well, I think the 300 does take it because, you're getting the same movement, you're getting, fantastic design and finishing. I guess it's more versatile. I think it's got the better style overall. And I think for the spread in price, 40% more for this model, even for the same type of spread for the current model, I have to give the value to the Diver 300M. Now, if you compare this to the, I guess the present model, I think you're getting more for your money. And you could argue that that's very much going to be the same, because the present model, I have to tell you, with the new Omega caliber, anti-magnetic in-house movements, that is much upgraded, higher power reserve, etc. I think the new Planet Ocean will be much more compelling in terms of value. But comparing this model with the previous one with the same movement in both, I think you have to give the value for money stakes to the Diver 300M. That's just my overall view. All right, Omega brand, well, I'm not going to mention that anymore. It's got to be the same. You can't differentiate it on this. And then lastly, I haven't put the X factor in here because I think it was a bit of a typo. But X factor wise, what would you give these watches? I've chosen to give 9 for the Diver 300. I've given 8 for the Planet Ocean. Now, I think they're both awesome. They've both been on screen with James Bond. They just have that that extra X factor that's beyond many watches. But I've given a slight edge to this because this one is just a little bit more well known. It's I think more recognized. It's one of the best selling models for Omega, at least the previous model that was on screen with Pierce Brosnan. I hear that was one of the best selling models ever. So X factor wise, I've chosen to give a slight edge to the Diver 300M. So there we go, guys. I haven't even bothered totaling the score here because once again, this isn't a direct head-to-head. This is just a description to share with you guys my thoughts on why you might choose a Planet Ocean, why you might choose the 300M. So in summary, I think you're getting 2 great dive watches from the house of Omega. They both have the same caliber in this case, the Omega caliber 2500 coaxial. They both have the same quality. I can't really tell you that one has better quality than another, even though these are different years in production. And they both have design excellence as well for what they are, these dive style watches from the house of Omega. The 600M, I have to say, is the upsize heavy version. Serious dive performance and durability. I think no doubt is the better tool watch. It really is one of the best tool watches that I've ever handled. The 300M, however, I think has better styling overall. It certainly has better versatility. I've given it the edge on the intangible X factor as well as the overall value compared to this model. So, no doubt I think I consider this the better overall everyday watch as opposed to a tool functional watch that is the Planet Ocean. So guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found that informative and enjoyable. Let me know your thoughts on these models. If you enjoy my videos, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. I'm learning new things about horology all the time, and I share it right here on the channel, always aiming to be unbiased and objective. Thank you again for watching, and as always, I will catch you next time.